Newsource. Early voting begins in two northeast Georgia counties. Grady Newsource reporters have the latest from Athens, Clarke, and Barrow counties. Then, how an Athens commissioner plans to make litter cleanup a monthly event. And finally, how something as small as a cup of coffee can make a big impact in the lives of those with disabilities. All this and more, live at 5.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Hello, I'm McGregor Rowland. Thank you for joining us tonight. We begin with early voting today in two northeast Georgia counties. In Athens, Clarke County, residents are voting on the vacant District 2 commissioner seat, while in Barrow County, people today are voting on a referendum on whether to continue to fund an education tax. We have reporters working on both stories. So we go to Grady Newsource reporter Rachel Branding, who joins us live in the newsroom now. Rachel, can you tell us about the votes in Barrow County?
Yeah, McGregor, it's the first day of early voting for the East Blast referendum, which is a tax to fund the Barrow County school system. And tomorrow is election day for the House District 119 runoff. When I was there at noon, they only had about 15 voters, but now they've had up to 30 after a full day of voting. There are currently two votes happening in Barrow County, a referendum on the Education Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and an election for a Georgia House seat. East Blast early voting will run for the next 3 weeks, with people voting whether to continue the East Blast, a 1-cent sales tax that gives money to the Barrow County school system. Monica Franklin, the director of Barrow County Elections, expects a 5% voter turnout, but is urging people to come out and vote.
The SPLOST election is also very important. Everyone that comes to Barrow County and purchases items contributes to that SPLOST fund. It's not just burdens of the landowners or property owners in the county.
The East Blast tax is currently in place, but this vote could extend its usage for 5 more years, which would continue to fund improvements to school facilities, purchase new equipment and technologies, and get new school buses. As for the House election, the final vote begins tomorrow. But with both of these votes happening at the same time, Franklin says that some residents have gotten confused.
We are having to be very careful in the voters that are coming in today. Most of the voters that are coming in thinking that they're going to be voting in the 119 special that will be held tomorrow. But while they're here, they are going ahead and voting for the March 21st.
I spoke with one voter who came in to vote for the House seat today and was surprised by the East Blast vote.
At least I got one of the two down.
Shepley voted in favor of the East Blast tax, citing his belief in the importance of funding for a strong school system.
Our future is our youth. I think education is crucial to any community, and a good school system draws good people, good business, and just brings the community up from the ground up.
And early voting for the East Blast will be open Monday through Friday until March 17th. And tomorrow is the last day the Barrow County residents will have the opportunity to vote for the District 119 Special House election. And that's all for me. Back to you, McGregor.
Thank you, Rachel. Today also marks the beginning of early voting in Athens, Clarke County. Grady Newsource reporter Logan Crump tells us how polling will progress in the coming weeks.
Early voting began today in Athens, Clarke County for the local District 2 commissioner seat. According to ACCGov.com, the voting period will last from now until March 17th. Absentee ballots can also be submitted from now up until March 10th. The District 2 seat was left vacant after previous Commissioner Mariah Parker resigned from this position last August. There are 2 candidates on the ballot to fill that seat, Melissa Link and Karina Gallagher.
Advanced voting is being offered as a way for Athens voters to make sure their voices are heard in case they cannot attend Election Day, March 21st. However, some problems have presented themselves in the early hours of voting. The issue? It all starts with just this sign.
So of the 6 voters that have come into the office this morning for advanced voting, 4 of them were eligible and 2 were not. They were in other districts.
Vote for. I'm sure they're not trying to do it on purpose.
Right, they're not. Fortunate for us, we do have voters who are, all they have to see is a sign that there's elections going on, right? And so they show up and they want to vote because they people, voters, they want their voting activity to be active.
Here are the steps you can take to make sure you're able to vote in this election. First, go to www.mvp.sos.ga.gov, fill in your first initial, last name, county of residence, and fill out the online form with the date of birth. After confirming voting registration, you may visit accgov.com to find an interactive map. There, you can input your address and find which district you fall under. If you still need to cast your ballot, polls will be open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Logan Crump, Grady Newsource.
The Supreme Court will begin hearing arguments for President Joe Biden's student debt relief program tomorrow. The program is aimed at providing relief for low-income and middle-class families that are in need of assistance when it comes to paying for college. This will be increasingly relevant for many families as pandemic-related assistance is about to expire. Being involved in a vehicle accident can be traumatizing enough, but what do you do when the other vehicle involved flees from the scene? Grady Newsource reporter Clay Britton brings us the latest in hit-and-run data in Athens, Clarke County, and what to do if you're involved in one.
The Athens Police Department responded to 1,075 hit-and-run calls last year.
A vehicle is involved in a crash and they don't exchange or provide any of their information and they leave the scene.
Barnett says that if you do leave the scene of an accident but leave your contact information, it is not considered a hit and run. So far this year, there has been 141 hit and runs involved in vehicle accidents. According to Lieutenant Barnett, most of these accidents occur in parked cars, whether that's in a parking garage, a parking lot, or a parked car on the side of the street, such as this one. Wyatt Milner was unfortunate enough to be one of those included in this statistic. He says his car was parked on Barber Street when another car struck his and fled the scene.
I heard a crashing noise. It was close, and it woke me up at 4 a.m. and I went out there, and the car was crashed straight into the front of my car, and there was no one in it.
He says the responding officers that arrived on the scene were able to locate the suspect roughly a mile away from where the accident occurred. Milner's truck was totaled as a result of the accident. Not everyone involved in a hit and run is fortunate enough to be able to locate the suspect as fast as Milner in this case. However, if you are involved in a hit and run accident, there are some actions you can take to help the police in their investigation.
You can get, a make and model of a car or at least a color and a type of car. If you're able to get a tag number or at least a partial tag number, that is also very helpful when we're investigating these things.
With Grady Newsource, I'm Clay Britton.
A new health report by Augusta University revealed a mixed review for the state of Georgia. This report displays how Georgia compares to the rest of the nation when it comes to the prevalence of chronic conditions and health measures. We are doing better than the rest of the nation in some areas, such as cancer, but we are also showing more prevalence on average when it comes to some conditions, such as child asthma and unmet child medical care, than the rest of the country. A UGA sorority began one of its main philanthropic events of the year today to mark the start of Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Grady Newsource reporter Josh Talevsky tells us how the sorority is promoting body positivity.
Miniature ducks aren't the only thing students are receiving at the UGA chapter of Delta Phi Epsilon's table. Notes of encouragement, like "you matter" and "you are confident," are there to help students duck their insecurities. Each spring, the sorority holds its Week of Worth to promote its body positivity initiative, which provides students struggling with body image and mental health with the proper help and resources. The National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders, the National Eating Disorders Association, and the Body Positive are all organizations Delta Phi Epsilon has worked with to encourage, fundraise, and educate the Athens community. Vice President of Philanthropy Hannah Kenyon says college students in Athens need to be comfortable talking about these issues.
The goal of Week of Worth and the Body Positivity Initiative is just to create some safe spaces on campus for people to feel comfortable to talk about these issues and know that they are supported here. The goal is really just to spread positivity around campus and let people know that they are empowered, they can do what they need to do.
The timing of the sorority's Week of Worth aligns perfectly with the NEDA's Eating Disorder Awareness Week. With this in mind, student visitors are to take away greater lessons from coming to the table.
You need to know how to love yourself, and it's important to know that you are beautiful no matter what.
Delta Phi Epsilon will be tabling again tomorrow at the Tate Student Center and hosting other events throughout the week to help raise money for these causes and advocate for self-love. Josh Talevsky, Grady Newsource.
Coming up after the break, how the City of Commerce plans to bring in new economic development opportunities in their downtown area.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The City of Comer has introduced a new program called the Comer Rural Designation, which has been designed to encourage economic development, beautification, and historic preservation in the city's downtown area.
Very simply put, it's an incentive program that incentivizes a few things. It incentivizes job creation, it incentivizes the rehabilitation of buildings, and it incentivizes the investment into a rural downtown.
It's literally.
The program will be in effect until January of 2028. In order to qualify, a business must be in downtown Comer and create at least 2 full-time jobs for citizens. Participating businesses owners will meet these program standards will be granted a tax credit. 600 new jobs are coming to West Georgia. Governor Brian Kemp says Sam's Club is opening a new warehouse in Douglas County. Sam's Club's parent company, Walmart, is investing more than $140 million into the project. Walmart is one of the biggest employers in Georgia with around 66,000 employees. If you drive down a major road in Athens, chances are you'll see some litter, but one Athens group is trying to clean up the west side.
It's literally blowing into people's yards, where people live, where kids play. It can get in the way of people's ability to walk down the sidewalk. And so if you have someone who's trying to make their way down a sidewalk with a disability or in a wheelchair, it can literally impede their ability to do so. It can be dangerous.
Commissioner Jesse Houle held a cleanup in the Stonehenge neighborhood yesterday.
Everything's up in the air and it keeps changing, but the last word that we got was that everything that we have has to go out of the building and we will not be able to rehearse there anymore. And so that is essentially going to put us out of business.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that a lab leak most likely was the root cause of the pandemic, according to findings by the Energy Department. It teamed up with the FBI to investigate and determine mistakes in a Chinese lab caused the initial leak. However, other agencies believe that the cause was from natural transmission, leading all parties to still be undecided. Coming up, the 5-day forecast and student spring break plans.
score, going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Spring break is right around the corner for us here at the University of Georgia. Grady Newsource reporter Destiny Johnson is live in the newsroom, joining us with the 5-day forecast. And Destiny, I can't wait to find out the weather for spring break.
Grab your favorite umbrella and hold on tight. A wind advisory is in effect for Athens until 7 o'clock p.m., with winds up to 35 miles per hour. Along with this wind, there's a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms right around the corner this evening. The high today was about 74, and the temperatures will be dropping to about 55 this evening. Skies will be bright and sunny on Tuesday with a high of 76, cooling down with a low of 51 in the evening. Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a chance 20% of showers and also possible thunderstorms. The high will be 78 and a low of 64. But there will be more showers and even thunderstorms on Thursday. However, these anticipated showers aren't bringing down the temperatures too far until later. The high for Thursday is 76 with a low of 64 in the evening. This heat will continue into Friday with the high of 74. Friday evening, a cold front is expected to briefly pass over Athens, with the low of 42 and also increase to 63 degrees on Sunday. The skies will be mostly clear this weekend. However, I talked to 3 students about their plans for spring break. The weather should be pleasant for travel. Their plans range from Missouri to Augusta and Miami, and here's what they had to say.
I'm going home to Missouri. My parents just recently moved there, so I'm gonna be hanging out with them. We live on Lake of the Ozarks, so hopefully it's warm enough where we could go on the boat, but I don't think it will be warm enough. So we'll probably just hang out at the house. I'll talk to my parents, hang out with them, and we might go to the Bagnell Dam to get fudge or something. I don't know, we'd love to do that, but it's kind of far away.
Right now, we're supposed to go to Miami from the 7th through the 11th, so we're gonna leave Tuesday morning at 3 a.m., come back sometime early Saturday, and then we just trying to figure out if we're gonna drive the whole way, split it up, or fly.
This year I was going to go to Tybee Island with my friends, but unfortunately that fell through because none of us are old enough to rent an Airbnb. So I will be going home to Augusta, Georgia this spring break.
Those traveling to Missouri and Augusta are in luck because it'll be mostly sunny over the weekend. However, it will be partly cloudy with a 20% chance of showers in Miami. I'll be relaxing and watch The Bachelor during my spring break. How about you, McGregor?
I will actually be heading down south to Cabo San Lucas with some friends. We're going to an all-inclusive resort, and we have been looking forward to it for months now. And I'm happy to see that the weather will be shaping up well. Thanks for that weather update, Destiny. Coming up in sports, what the new pitch time rule means for the MLB.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Welcome back. I'm Olivia Wakeham with your Grady Newsource Sports. On Saturday, the Braves faced the Red Sox and tied their spring season game with a surprising finish. At the bottom of the ninth inning, the Braves violated the new pitch time rule that has taken effect for the 2023 season. At the bottom of the ninth, the umpire ruled that second baseman Cal Conley wasn't ready to hit in time. The automatic strike ended the game with a 6-6 tie between the Braves and Red Sox. The pitch timer rule gives pitchers up to 15 seconds between pitches when the bases are empty and 20 seconds when there's at least one runner on base. Because of this, the hitter has to be in the box and prepared with at least 8 seconds left on the clock. With this new rule going into effect, the MLB hopes that it will keep the game time shorter this season. I spoke to University of Georgia Sport Management professor David Schmidt about what this rule might look like going forward.
I think it's going to be a pretty big transition for a lot of the veterans, more than kind of the rookies and minor leaguers. This is the part that MLB has been very adamant about, like shortening games, keeping people entertained. I think we saw it in the minor leagues last year when they implemented it. It was about 20 minutes shorter per game. But minor leagues and majors is different. And so I still think you're going to see 245, 250 games maybe. I know last year was a little over 3 hours. That came down a little bit, but I don't think we'll see a 20-minute jump like we did in the minors.
In UGA athletic news, the Georgia softball team won all 5 of their games this past weekend at the 20th annual Georgia Classic. They finished out the weekend with a 5-0 win against the Lipscomb Bisons. This win marked Georgia's 5th straight shutout of the weekend, a streak Georgia last saw in 2019. Georgia softball will play an away game on Tuesday against rival Georgia Tech. It was a tough weekend for the Bulldogs in basketball. The women's basketball team lost against the University of South Carolina this weekend with a final score of 63-73. The Lady Dogs are ending the regular season with 7 wins out of 9 conference games. The team earned the number 7 seed in the Southeastern Conference Tournament, which will be held in Greenville, South Carolina later this week. They'll be playing Auburn on Thursday at 6 p.m. in the second round of the SEC tournament. And finally, Georgia men's basketball team suffered a loss to Missouri with a final score of 85-63, bringing them to a 3-game losing streak. The final home game of the season will be tomorrow against the Florida Gators at Stegman Coliseum. That's all for your Grady Newsource Sports. I'm Olivia Wakeham, and coming up after the break, we'll have more about how a small cup of coffee is making big changes in Athens.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please. I think I I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
And now we turn to discuss a local organization that is making a big impact on the lives of disabled Americans here in Athens. I'm now joined by Grady Newsource reporter Olivia Gauthier. So Olivia, can you tell me a little bit about the Java Joy program and why you wanted to report on this story?
Yeah, so the Java Joy program is a program through ESP here in Athens that employs adults with disabilities with meaningful employment, of course by being coffee shop baristas. And a little bit that went into my motivation to cover this story was I actually had an aunt with disabilities, and so I sort of saw firsthand the uncertainty that sometimes people faced when interacting with her. And so I really felt like Java Joy found a sort of abstract solution to a very prevalent issue here in Athens. So let's take a look.
The opportunity and the hope that there's a place where their kid or adult would feel welcomed and loved, that's my favorite part.
Java Joy Athens coordinator Madison McCrory explains her feelings regarding the Java Joy experience. Coffee, hug, enjoy. Located inside Piedmont Athens Regional Hospital, Java Joy strives to provide adults with disabilities with meaningful employment and a community of support. McCrory understands firsthand Extra Special People, or ESP's, impact on the local community.
I say that Java Joy is kind of the hands and feet of ESP and what we do, because it's sometimes the first thing that people see when they experience ESP, and it's sometimes their first interaction with someone with a disability ever. And so it's really cool to watch our Joyristas kind of break down that barrier.
Joyristas are undoubtedly breaking down barriers one cup of coffee at a time. In the U.S., about 70% of adults with disabilities can and want to work, but only 35% are employed in meaningful work. Hannah has been working for Java Joy for about 6 years now, and when asked about her favorite part of the job, her response was no different than most of ours when it comes to working.
I like to pour coffee. I like getting paid, like money, so I could move out to Florida.
Java Joy currently employs over 50 adults across their 4 locations with the hopes of becoming the largest employer of adults with disabilities in America. UGA professor Dr. Rachel Caliani explains some of the limitations adults with disabilities face in our country.
Options and career options for people with disabilities, especially intellectual and developmental disabilities, continue to be sparse. Java Joy not only provides an opportunity for adults with disabilities to work, but they demonstrate the potential in other organizations for including people with disabilities.
While the issue of opportunity remains, the Java Joy program still strives to make small steps in the right direction.
The world is not necessarily built for people with disabilities. Luckily, here in Athens, we have a great community that knows who we are and knows kind of what they're getting themselves into. But it's definitely a pressure point that you feel of breaking down that barrier for someone to meet someone with a disability for the first time and learn what our program is. So,
Olivia Gauthier, Grady Newsource.
Thanks so much for that piece, Olivia. So while covering this story, is there any particular data or statistic that stuck out to you?
Yeah, so something that really stuck out to me was the fact that 87% of disabled adults in the U.S. are unemployed. So that's a really alarming number. And when I spoke with Professor Caliani, she made a really great point that representation for disabled Americans is the same as any type of diversity representation. This is a community of people that are capable and deserve to have an equal opportunity. So I think hopefully Java Joy is inspiring others in the Athens community as well as other employers to sort of push their barriers.
Thank you for that, Olivia. That's all we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us. McGregor Rowland, Grady Newsource.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Was a little bit like a heartbreak heart attack for some of us, because we didn't have a lot of packages, like 10 minutes before the show. Cassidy, I want to commend you, and Tom, thank you so much for your patience, and let us know.
Sorry, working on microphones, we're having issues.
Yeah, let us know how we did. It's over, but still we need to know how we did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, obviously we say every week, like, the earlier the packages can get in, the better, but I think that, you know, for the things that did have to, you know, be changed from, like, a package to a VOSOT, or for things that are kind of last minute like that, I think everybody did a good job of, like, staying calm and communicating, which is, like, the biggest thing, that, like, if you are going to have something come in, you know, at 4:55, just, like, letting us know and being, you know, aware that, like, we are getting that in last minute, versus just, like, putting it in small tree and being like, all right, I hope it gets in, but, like, following through to the very end and, like, making sure.
So how many packages actually made it on time today?
I don't know. Let me look.
Because it looked really scary.
At 4:30, it was very scary.
Yes, when the deadline was supposed to be.
I know sports had everything in. I know weather had everything in. I'm looking at the rest. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be there.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my biggest thing. I think things were imported. Carthy, what was the one issue? I guess the one issue with the thing initially was, like, it wasn't a small tree, but we fixed that. Like, we got.
With Rachel's live shot, there was some distracting sound. Was that something against the mic?
I couldn't tell. It might have been hair.
I thought it was her hair. I think her hair hit the mic,
yeah,
which is one of my notes for several, is to make sure that
yeah,
we're going to try and put your mics here
We don't want hairy live shots.
Yeah. We're gonna try to put your mics here always, just because that's where you talk from. So, and again, as a guy with no hair, I can't really speak to it, but that is something to consider, is kind of where your hair goes.
It seemed like it felt like a necklace, like
yeah,
I
couldn't find it in time.
Or a button or something, so but that's just a little thing we can figure out. And thank you, Rachel, for doing a great job going over to Barrow County, getting all that information. I really liked your package. Was very strong, good B-roll. You had an official, a voter, well-framed, graphics, interesting, even voting machines. It was just really interesting content and important information, making clear that there are 2 elections, and one started today and one is going to start. And it was very well done. Wanted to thank Logan also for bringing us that other election plus the VO SOT. Logan, I wanted to ask you, I didn't quite get the VO SOT. The SOT itself looked very strange. She was looking up and how did you film that soundbite? It just looked very strange. Why was she in a big room? Yeah. Yeah.
She was in like an office space and her camera was up there for some reason.
Oh, so you weren't there to film it? No. Okay. So I was wondering what was going on with that camera. Yeah. Just one stand-up per package. Athens Clark County, it was, I liked the first stand-up and pointing to this is the reason why, early voting, that was very creative. But then the second stand-up, I didn't understand the reason for that one. And the Zoom, your question was like, it was like a close-up of you, and then I liked the way you had framed the Zoom with Sosabi, but then you asking the question was, it wasn't like on the same Zoom, or I don't know, it looked very strange to have you sitting outside, then somewhere inside. So you either have to make a choice. When you have a stand-up and when you appear in a package, there's got to be some consistency in the way you appear. But I didn't quite understand the Zoom question. Maybe you just could have either not asked it, or because you appeared in the package in so many different ways, and I didn't quite get how the Zoom happened also. Was that just something you did afterwards to add in the question, or? But just think about consistency and just one stand-up but you did a great job turning, a quick turn at such short notice, and you did a VO SOT. So this is just me giving you my thought as a viewer. Anybody else has some ideas as to, have you guys been in a situation like that where you had a workaround, doing a Zoom interview and adding a question? And do you have something to add to that, or some advice? So it's not just me asking, but you need a mic for that.
Yeah, I've had to do it before, so Logan, I completely empathize with you. It's not ideal. Sometimes, it doesn't format the way you want it to, but
the Zoom?
The Zoom, yes. And the best piece of advice I could give you is to try to make sure you're not exactly in that interview as much as possible, to try to focus it more on your source, and then try to just lead into it and let their soundbite just kind of be the soundbite, and then pivot right back off of it.
Yeah. But look at it again. Again, I commend you for all the work you did today. Double duty, and you were quick turn. It's just a small thing that could, move you to a whole different level. It's not a big thing, but it was distracting, and not more than one soundbite, stand up. Sorry, it's been a long day. Not more stand up. But I really liked the creativity, sitting down and pointing. I could tell you had fun and you enjoyed doing that story. So thank you for all the hard work. Both of you, you made our show, the top of our show was very strong thanks to the two of you. And I thank you very much. Connor, I felt like you were the most organized and you had your package in early. And what happened?
I was like sticking the last piece of VO in there, about ready to export, and then my timeline completely disappeared and I could not find it. And I found it at 5 o'clock, of course, but so we had to pivot and make it a BOSOD.
Oh, man, I'll find it for you.
Yeah, because that was like, you were the most organized, and I couldn't believe of all people that. Yeah. Okay. Wanted to commend both our sports and weather anchors for having sound bites and the creativity. Both of you, I could tell you had a great presentation. You were enjoying yourselves. With Destiny, you were just, what happened to Monday and Tuesday in your graphic, and why were you hiding the temperatures, standing right in front of the temperatures? I didn't realize always stand on the side, like here, and you couldn't see yourself that you were hiding the temperatures, well hidden.
It was too late. I said, oh my gosh, I turned around and I saw my entire body. The graphic I was so mad.
And what happened to Monday and Tuesday? You don't care about Monday? You hate Mondays, so there was no temperature. I hate Mondays as well, but that, again, I could tell, you had the sound bites, you wrote everything with, I could tell you were having a good time. You had this interaction with McGregor. McGregor, just one thing, try to interact. I know it was your first time, so you did a great job. You were very confident. You held it all together, but you were reading, take a look at it. You were reading the question while the person is sitting next to you. So try not to read the question, or just start reading it to just get yourself started. But look at the person you're asking the question. Maybe you got the question in the last moment, so you were not able, you're not confident enough to ask it. And then when the person is talking to you, look at them. You were doing that quite a bit with Olivia G, but from time to time you just looked, I know you weren't disinterested, but you were just like looking at, keep looking at them, be engaged. Like I told you, just be engaged and lock into the content. That's what I would, is just I'm nitpicking. Yeah. But you were awesome for your first anchoring. It's really scary. I told you I wanted to run away when my first anchoring thing was. So don't worry about it, but just to move you forward, I thought you could smile when you were welcoming people. It's okay to smile a little bit. Your expression was serious throughout the show. It was a good expression, but it didn't vary. So that's what I would, moving forward, I would vary the expression from time to time. There are reasons to also smile, and that's what I would encourage you to just vary the expressions. But you did, for your first one, don't get me wrong, I'm just kind of moving you further, just like with Logan, I'm just kind of moving you to the next level. Otherwise, you're wasting your time in this show if I didn't have something good and something to move you forward. So that's what you did a great job. You look great on air, very professional. That's the only thing I would suggest. Look at yourself. I hated looking at myself, but it helps to look, because that's when you will notice, oh, this is where I was engaged, and think of how that felt and do more of that. That's how I would say, wherever you saw yourself being engaged and comfortable, think about how that felt and how it came about, and just do more on that. And that's it. That's what I would suggest. Anything you want to share with us from your first anchoring? Anything? How did that feel? And
it was fun. I had a good time with it. Just make sure you know how to pronounce words. Like about Comer. So, if you don't know a word and how to pronounce it, it would be, and then Like just don't be as like stiff and look at the camera, like interact.
And a little bit more, a little bit more. From time to time, you could, tilt your head to one, and then it comes natural. I mean, you don't have to do, okay, 1, 2, 3 this way, 1, 2, just from time to time, your head, you could move your body, you could gesture, but that comes with, it doesn't come on your first time. So I didn't expect it. So that comes with doing more of that and realizing where you did something that you felt you were engaged, and you did change the subject, and you were more animated. I would say try to be more animated. But these are just nitpicking. Again, you held it all together very, very well. There were a few curveballs, and you handled them very well.
Thank you.
So, and I scared you to be prepared if our live shot goes down. Yeah. So, Olivia G. where is she? That was a very heartwarming story. You were engaged. I have to look at it and watch to see how it came together. I would suggest that next time you do a Sojo story, maybe have the organizer, the provider, film their thoughts, not them sitting, but doing something that's part of their work, and that would add, it would be more dynamic, and that would kind of immerse us into the solution. The character, you had an awesome character. She was just wonderful. I like to make money. That was wonderful. Great selection of sound bites. I'll look at it a little bit more and give you some more feedback, because I wasn't able to really take it in. But it was a great story, and if I have any other suggestions, I'll let you know. And again, we say that every time because it's true. I mean, you're very natural in front of the camera, and I'm glad we were able to do the Q&A. And those stories are not easy. Yeah, it took a lot of pre-planning and thinking, and you even got the expert and everything. Just a little for your next, if you ever do again a Sojo story, think about the solution. It's all about the solution. Filming the steps, filming the barista, how they're making the coffee. Maybe, the machine, hear the natural sound, from the machine, and that kind of thing I think was missing. I'll look at it again, but I didn't see her. I saw her sitting and speaking to you, but I didn't see her very much in action and serving people and people's reaction to her, and the provider, instructing her something and saying, this is how we train them, how we do this. We train them, we do this, they do this, and then they do that, and they learn this. When they come to us, they don't know how to do this. So that would be my advice, again, to move you forward on the solutions. That is my solution for the solution story. But thank you. That was hard work. Let me see. Josh, you pulled it off with those ducks and everything. And yeah. It came together. It was a good story. Yeah. With the ducks and everything. And you were creative with, I think that was your best. Well, no, your barber thing was good B-roll and good putting things in, and this was good with the ducks and everything. Clay, I really like that package. I mean, you're coming into your own. I mean, even the stand-up, I can tell you're having a good time with all these packages. Do you want to be an MMJ? It seemed,
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
It's a little stressful, and that's where I don't know if I want to handle stress that much, but
I know, but you're doing it, and I really appreciate it. I mean, 2 sources, very interesting. You found, that's not easy to find that anecdotal, the guy who was a victim of a hit and run. You're planning very well. You're getting those stories together very well, and they're coming. Your stand-up was very creative. I can tell you're really, having having fun doing these things and coming up with some good B-roll and good planning, and your script is very good. I just kind of had to kill one of your darlings in that script, and but it was a good script. The logic and everything was very good in the way you had written it. I hardly had to do anything. We just kind of got rid of the apples and oranges comparison where, you could have done a comparison, but either percentage to percentage or numbers to numbers. But it was very well written, very well executed. So thank you for that. That was another outstanding piece that we had. And yeah, I think I thanked everybody, and I want to thank, Allie. I know this was not easy, and Cooper, thank goodness it's over, but thank goodness it's over to you guys. How was it? I mean, you doubled as an assignment editor, writer, managing editor, everything.
Yeah, I felt like I did a lot of jobs today, which was kind of interesting to juggle. I want to thank everybody who got me their scripts pretty early because that really did help me out.
So when you joined this class, you thought you'd be rotated through one role per day, but today
I had two.
You were rotated through. Yeah. Both you and Allie, I thought you did a great job working together also on this very, very challenging day. And I really thank you guys. We will have another challenging day on Wednesday because we're still missing 4 people in New York. Hopefully they can give us some content. But I think you guys know we can make it from today. We can do it. And I really appreciate the creativity and everybody stepping in and getting us some extra content. And I thought it was a pretty strong show. So Allie, how was producing for you? Thank God it's over, or?
Thank God it's over. It was not my favorite job that I've had thus far, but I am very grateful for everyone that helped write a reader or pivoted or did more than one story today or a VO site and a package. It was very helpful. Somehow, though, all day we thought we'd be under and then ended up being over. So that was interesting.
Because you tried so hard to be over, yeah.
But something that I will say is next time I will know how to float a package before it's time to actually float it, because I think I turned the same color as my dress whenever he said float it and I didn't know what to do.
And you didn't tell me. I could have shown you. You decided you were going to figure it out.
And I just started clicking and eventually I saw it, but...
Okay, I could have shown you. I'm not that mean.
Well, yeah, it was my own fault. I put myself in that position, but don't be like me when you're a producer, I guess, is my advice.
No, I thought you did a great job. You wrote, both of you. I see an awesome MMJ, but also a good manager in you. And both of you worked so well together, and you had a great team that supported you and worked with you. Want to just kind of see, Colin, would you like to tell us what you posted and
So I mean, obviously we couldn't get the New York people on the show, but I was retweeting and reposting a lot of their adventures in New York. The DeFi story did well. I'm assuming a lot of this.
Which story?
The one Josh did with the ducks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 'cause I was just assuming a lot of the sorority girls were reposting that and
of course
sharing them with each other. But that did well on the site.
And what about were you able to do anything with Rachel's story, which is really important because people are confused?
I did not. No.
Okay, so what were your other newsier stories, like news, serious? Did you post anything else that?
That was pretty much it that I posted. Yeah.
The Sojo, did you do
I
anything
didn't do
with-
that yet. I was going to though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was important. But I know like Olivia was working hard to get that in. But I will do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will get that posted.
All right. Things to look ahead for Wednesday. You're going to be our producer, right?
Yes, you want me to be producer?
You'll be the TV producer.
I'm doing two roles, right?
One role, TV
Oh,
producer.
just the TV
Yeah.
producer? Okay.
I'll have Hannah do 2 roles, which is what Cooper was doing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so producing is more than enough. That's
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was confused. I thought you wanted me to do more this morning when you asked on the
I
Zoom
can
call.
always give you more
No,
work.
it's
but
okay. I mean...
if you insist, I'll come up with something. I don't want...
No.
just kidding.
It's all right.
Just kidding. Yeah. So guys, anybody wants to share an adventure or something? Olivia G. or anybody else? Okay, so why don't I let you go 3 minutes? How generous of me. Okay, guys, so we'll make it on Wednesday. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.